I'm Mark Steiner. I'm here with Eddie Conway, executive producer here at The Real News and host of Rattling the Bars, Dr. Natasha Pratt Harris, associate professor and criminal justice coordinator at Morgan State University, and Aja Harris, who is SGA president at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and a criminal justice major. So let's talk about what will happen if this bill passes. Now, it certainly looks like it will pass with some conservative amendments. We even push it further back to making it not as important. But press-wise, in terms of the view of the American people seeing this, it can have a huge effect politically because it looks as if real reform is happening when it's not. So what do you think that will take? 'Cause I'm curious, very quickly, for three different perspectives. Natasha, let's just start with you, and I'm also curious with your generation, Aja, what you think this will mean in terms of the political battle for your generation, and then we'll close out with Eddie. Natasha?
Well, less than 24 months, we'd be voting for the president again at the general election. And quite frankly, the media will plug this as a hot topic and acknowledge that there's been some reform if this actually passes. And you'll probably get some people who are going to go on the Trump side saying, wow, he actually did something. And, you know, while we have these issues, you know, criminal justice reform is one of my things. Obama wasn't able to do X, Y, or Z. But that's partly because we aren't necessarily well versed again in what criminal justice reform looks like, really, and or what may have happened in previous administrations, because it was not necessarily popular. When Obama visited the prisons, when he eliminated solitary confinement for juveniles, when he brought back the Pell Grant as a temporary status about people getting an education while incarcerated, those things weren't played up. Obama's presidency in particular wasn't necessarily a criminal justice reform presidency. Trump may very well look like that if this particular bill passes.
And one of the things that they're not mentioning here that I think Senators Booker and Harris said, along with Holder, is that this didn't have to even be a bill. Most of the things in this bill could have been an executive order. This is just a show.
Yeah,
it's a game. How do you think it will affect politically your generation?
I think that it would open up a whole new can of worms when it comes to federal versus state laws. Because it doesn't affect the state laws, it will not positively affect the crimes that are happening more in an abundance, like the more people crimes. Like the federal crimes are more committed by those who have money, and then the state crimes are committed by a lot of people who don't have money, things that, crimes of necessity, like you need to do this in order to feed your family type thing. So it's gonna open up a whole new can of worms for the state government to have to now have a bill or executive order, something of that sort, to make it seem like they're also falling in line with what Donald Trump is doing in terms of having a foot in on criminal justice reform, when it's really not criminal justice reform.
Eddie Conway.
Yeah, and I think what will change after this is over is it'll be good PR press, as been stated already, for Trump and the Republicans, the Koch brothers. But what's really important, it's gonna privatize the incarcerational state. It's going to privatize the amount of agencies that's incarcerating people out beyond the prison walls. And so even though it looks like the population of prisons are going down, in fact, the population of prisoners will be increasing, and it'll be private money that will be spent, and families will be paying for their loved ones to be on electronic monitoring or tested and so on. And so that's they're privatizing prisons, and they expand them into poor and black communities.
I think that will be, to me, the real trick politically to explain to the American people what's really happening here. When you have this brave new world of incarceration that doesn't look like incarceration, that doesn't appear like incarceration. And actually, in some ways, that might be something that American people, in their paranoia about all of this, could actually relate to. How Big Brother is kind of taking over everything, including what's happening to poor people in this country with incarceration. I mean, this has political potential on both sides for the looming battle ahead with this half-step, no-step bill.
Fake bill.
Fake step.
Third
fake step. You said fake step.
The jail next door.
The jail next door.
Yeah.
Well, this is always great. Eddie Conway, I really appreciate all the work you do here at Real News. and bringing these things to our attention. Dr. Natasha Pratt Harris has been guest of mine for years. It's great to have you on the airwaves. Thank you so much. And Aja Harris, good luck as the incoming SGA president.
Current president.
Huh?
She's the current president.
Current president here at University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And, oh, that's right, we're in the winter break, not summer break.
Yeah, we're not summer
What year
break.
is this? It's good to have you all here. This has been
Almost
great.
2019.
This is great. And I'm Mark Steiner here for The Real News. Thank you all for joining us. Great to have you with us. Take care.